finding the right supplier or manufacturer for your product. Definitely not an easy thing to do. If you have already decided on a product to sell, or if you are currently selling a product and you want to see if there are more suppliers and manufacturers out there, there's a very, very simple process to follow. And in this episode of Power Your E-commerce Business, I'm interviewing Yulia from Zignify, global sourcing experts that are based all over the world and work with 7 to 8 figure sellers, as well as all types of Amazon and e-commerce sellers, and help them find suppliers for their products. Let's see Yuliya's tips about how to find a great supplier and how to collaborate on creating the perfect product. Let's get started. Welcome to Power Your E-commerce Business, the go-to series for busy entrepreneurs like you. Product research, sales, marketing, branding, shipping and logistics. We share knowledge and information every week from top experts serving the MENA region to help you power your e-commerce business. So Yulia,
hello.
First of all, very excited to be here with you, yes. And we're gonna be discussing everything related to sourcing. But before we dive into it and before we talk about the common mistakes that we find all levels of Amazon as well as e-commerce sellers make, first of all, let us know a little bit more about you. Let the audience know a little bit more about you.
Hello, audience. So my name is Yulia. Originally, I come from Russia, but I haven't lived there in 17 years. I left when I was just 17, so now you can calculate how old I actually am. I have been working in product sourcing, supply chain, and anything and everything that relates to that particular area for the last 17 years. My whole life, I worked in the corporate world. I worked for companies that are listed on the stock exchange that make billions in revenue, etc., etc. At some point, I decided that, you know what, I might not make billions for myself, but at least a little bit more than an average salary. So I decided that it's time to start the company, and it kind of went natural into this. And now we have Zignify,
yes,
global product sourcing. So we officially kind of started a little bit less than 2 years ago. So what is it, 2022 right now? So we started summer 2020, and currently we have over 40 people on board.
Yeah.
One of the coolest things, I think one of the coolest things about us is that all of our team members, I hate the word employees because they're not team employees. They're not employees, they're team members. We're all team together. They're all women.
Yeah.
It's all women except one, which is Sebastian Hertz, which is my partner in life and in crime. You can't kind of kick out your better half out of the business.
Your other half. It doesn't have to be better.
Yes. No, this one's better.
Sebastian.
This one's better.
Yeah.
So we're strategically based all across the globe. So
I think that's the cool thing.
Yeah.
Because previously when you would tell someone that, we have a global team, they're not really all under one roof, it was a little bit odd. Like, what? They're not all in your office? But now it's very common, and not only is it common, it's actually an advantage to have. That's how we've structured our agency, and that's how you've been doing it. And it makes so much more sense because number one, you can find better talent.
Yep.
And number two, you can work all across the globe and have all of these fantastic team members that come with all of their experience. And you can help enrich their life, and they can vice versa do for the company and the clients as well.
Absolutely. We're not Elon Musk. You've seen what he posted, right? Everyone must work 40 hours in the office. Yes. No, we only hire women. We don't discriminate against men or anything like this. We did try men, I promise, 5. They didn't work out. In our opinion, they were not efficient, effective, not good for us.
You just created this team of fantastic women. We're going to talk about Zignify, of course, and your amazing experience, especially when it comes to sourcing for Amazon sellers, which we talk about a lot on the channel. But let's get started with, you're a very positive person. I'm a very positive person, but obviously mistakes are not a negative thing. They're just something to be aware of. And there are things that you make, and you actually make those mistakes at any and every level. But I believe if you're just simply aware of them, then at least if you do fall trap into those mistakes, you know somebody else has made them, or at least you can avoid them. That's what we want. So let's talk a little bit about mistakes when it comes to sourcing, especially for all types of levels of sellers. But first and foremost, what you find is one of, not in any particular order, but what are some of the mistakes that you find with all of your knowledge and experience, especially when it comes to people that reach out to you and work with Zignify? What are some of the mistakes that you find? Let's get started with number one.
Again, this is for all levels, and I absolutely agree that this one, the first one, is for all levels, is the amount of manufacturers that you're actually reach out to. We have people who have had their own businesses for 1 year, for 0 years, for 10 years. And the biggest mistake they make is they contact 5 to 10 manufacturers and they're expecting miracles to happen. This doesn't work for Asia. This doesn't work for Europe. It doesn't matter. If you reach out to 5 or 10 manufacturers, first things first, you're going to get very low responses. Unless this is China. Yes, you will get 5 out of 5 or 10 out of 10. But it still means you don't have a very good spread and understanding of what are the average prices on the market, what you can do with those prices, and how much you can negotiate down the ones that you actually select in the process. On average, for example, in China, we suggest to contact around about 30 manufacturers per product or per category of products. Let's say you're sourcing cups, and it's cups like this, but maybe in 5 different colors or different shapes. We will count this as one product. You reach out to 30 manufacturers, not to 3, not to 5. You will get prices from 3 and then 5. But you don't see what else is out there. You don't see how much you can work with that particular price. Because those 3 might give you a price of $1, but the other 20 would give you a price of 50 cents. So you missed out on this. So with the experience that we have for China, 30 manufacturers, for a project that is private label or with a little bit of OEM, this is very, very good. For the rest of the world, including the rest of the countries in Asia, Europe, North, South America, 60. Sorry, I'm using the Chinese number, like in China. 60 is a good number of manufacturers to reach out to. Out of 60, if we're talking Europe, for example, on average, 30 will respond and you will get prices from 5 to 10. Maybe. It can be all 30 will give you prices. But yes, this is the first thing. You need to make sure that you contact a lot more manufacturers. And even if you already got the prices that you like, it doesn't mean the prices can't be better. You need to explore the market. And it's not only because of the price, but the second very important point that people don't understand, if you found one factory, you always must have a backup. We've seen what has happened in China, right? Supply chain breakdown, orders not delivered, manufacturing delays for 3-4 months, sometimes more, and then delivery in 110 days. So if you were to have a second factory that is located in a completely different country or in a different province, in a different city, different state, you have a good backup. This is why always another, point, which is one of the mistakes, is that when the customers order samples, they order sample from one factory. Why? Don't be cheap when you're trying to build a business. I'm not saying spend all of your money without thinking. I'm saying if a sample costs $100, order 2 samples from 2 different factories. Make sure that the sample will be refunded when the mass production order is placed. You can put this in an invoice. But don't just order from one factory. Wait for a week or 2 or 3 whilst the sample is produced. Wait for a week until the sample is delivered, and then look at it. Oh, I don't like it. You lost a month. And this is a big mistake for the sellers because they don't think about the actual amount of time that is being spent on everything that they're doing, on every step. If you found someone, and if they produce for Chanel, Adidas, or Samsung, it doesn't mean that they will do a good product for you.
Yeah.
It means nothing until you see the final samples, until you test them. So this is why I always suggest you get the samples. For example, we check samples in China before we send it to our clients. We never send samples before that. If it's textiles, we wash it, we wear it, we smell it, we do everything. We use the products, because without using the products, you won't be able to understand.
Yulia, is this the same, would this be the same process for someone that is manufacturing large quantities versus someone that's ordering 100 or 200 units? Would you suggest, is it going to be possible to do the same thing? I don't think if you're ordering a small quantity that you're just, white labeling, you'll be able to do that.
Why not?
Well, because you're not getting them manufactured. You're just ordering a sample and you're adding your logo on it. That's what I
You still need to check the samples.
Yes, of course.
And it doesn't matter if it's a private label or white labeling the product. Especially if it's a white label, there will be even more manufacturers most probably available who have this product, right? So you have more opportunities and faster actually opportunities to check the quality between them. Because you need to look certification. Yes, 20 have, 10 don't have. So 10 are out, etc., etc. So the template, we do the same template for our customers who do drop shipping.
Yes.
Because it doesn't, even if I personally do not like drop shipping. I didn't like it for years. We did calculations, drop shipping versus shipping, mass production, etc. But the template is the same. You need to see the products. You need to make sure this is good. And this is, I don't know which mistake number that the customers or Amazon or other sellers do, is they don't check the samples properly.
True.
The sample comes in, literally a cup. The cup comes in. What can be wrong with it? How do you check a cup? First of all, you drink something out of it.
You make a tea or
coffee. Exactly. You put several times hot water in there, cold water, put it in the dishwasher. You put it in a bucket of water to see if there are any bubbles coming out. So, and you need to give it maybe to your kids to use. You need to drop it on the floor. And this is one mistake that the sellers do, is they don't properly check their samples for use. Like when I am a buyer, when I go to Amazon and I buy something, right? When it arrives, I use it. I use it. And I'm like, okay, those people did not test their product. And this is a big problem for sure.
Let's go back to talking about time, because I feel this is a very, this is a problem that you find with your clients. And this is something that we hear about all the time. So there is sometimes a miscalculation of time, thinking that, it's a small order. They'll do it for me, or I'm a really good seller and they're gonna do the order for me within a few days. So what is the calculation of time required, and should somebody, first of all, what is the calculation of time for how much lead time, manufacturing, all of that you should have as a seller? The second part of the question is related to, because I think it fits naturally, is related to negotiating. Because I see a lot of people saying, push the manufacturer. If they need 3 weeks, they should be able to do it in 2, or push the pricing and stuff like that. Is that something smart to do, or you should, make sure you don't pass a certain line of negotiation?
So in terms of time, I think one thing that people should do, again, doesn't matter you're a small seller, big seller, first timer, millions, look at your own schedule and see that you have vacations, you have holidays planned and scheduled in your calendar when you're not going to be in the office. If you're hiring people, they will also have days off and stuff like this. So this is the first thing to consider. When you're working, especially with different countries, they have their own national holidays. Look at China. We got the Chinese New Year, we got the Qingming Festival, we got the in September, October, you got the mooncakes and the national party. So these are the times, and before that, you need to do proper planning if you want to manufacture ship. So the first thing to do is to make sure that when you're working with a particular country, know all of the national holidays of that country and plan accordingly. So your products would preferably ship about 2 weeks before the national holidays start. Because over there, the timing is usually very tight. And this goes for Europe and other countries as well. And due to current logistical difficulties in the situation, the product, even though it's 2 weeks, it might not just leave. We've seen such things because there's so much demand. So that's the first thing. Secondly, you need to consider that, let's say, an average mass production in Asia and even in Europe takes about 30 days, right? But when you first come for researching the product, it takes different amounts of time.
Yeah.
If you go to China, you can have the first prices on the same day.
Yeah.
If you go even to Malaysia, that's most likely not going to happen. It might take a week or week and a half. So when you're working with Europe, US, or even South America, plan in about 3 weeks for research.
Yeah.
So getting the price, so contacting manufacturers, getting the quotations, confirming each and every point, even though you've mentioned everything in the email, you mentioned everything during the call, it still needs to be reconfirmed 50 times over. So about 3 weeks for this. Let's say, depending on the sample, if we're not talking electronics, if we're talking something even with the plastic and without doing a mold, think about 1 to 2 weeks for sample production. Some factories, they have a sample on hand, so they can send it within a day or two to you. Shipping in general, if you're shipping express, pretty much everywhere across the globe takes about 1 week. Yeah. So and after that you place an order for mass production. You send them in your design specs for the packaging, etc. That's a few more days, and then mass production. Let's say mass production, think some products can be produced in 15 days, not a problem. Some can be produced in a week, but let's say the average is around about 30 days. And then you need to think about your shipping. We know shipping from China right now takes from 28 days to infinity and beyond. In European countries, it's a lot easier. Poland to Germany, half a day, 1 day. From Italy, Turkey to European countries, trucking around about 7 to 10 days. Mexico to US, complicated to ship, but you need to make sure that your manufacturer has an export license, and if they do, then within a week's time you have all of your products. So let's say today is June something, so beginning of June, let's say today is the 1st of June, and we are and you say, I want to launch in August. I would say
it's impossible.
It's a kind of magic.
It's great that you laid out all of those things, because it's not like it takes a little bit of patience, but also every single person that's selling on Amazon or in e-commerce is going through the same time. Like nobody has a time machine. Everybody's going through the same thing. And I think it's always the first round where you're just sitting and waiting for the products, where you feel that the time is the longest. And then when you're just replenishing your inventory, because you're focused on selling, and then when you're replenishing your inventory, you just don't feel that time because you're focused on selling. And that is happening in the back end, where the products are being remanufactured again so that you can keep selling.
Or you're dealing with Amazon blocking your account.
So you're focused on the lovely people of Amazon. But before we talk about getting products from different countries, let's go back to the idea of negotiating. So is there a certain point where you should stop negotiating? Should you push? Should you just, anything they say, you should agree? What would you say?
Well, I would say, and this is always what I say, that working with manufacturers, it's like a marriage, it's like a relationship. It's when you're having a boyfriend or a girlfriend, or it doesn't matter, but it's a partnership, and you need to make sure that both of you can compromise. And this is where it comes. You need to make sure that the factory that you're potentially working with can compromise before you start working with them. And this is what you do on the initial stage, when you try to negotiate MOQs, when you try to negotiate pricing, etc. Sometimes, yes, it's possible to renegotiate, for example, delivery times or something like this already during the process. Maybe not for a whole quantity, but maybe the manufacturer can deliver at 30% and ship it by air or something like this, possible. but you need to be very careful. It is like when you're pushing people too much, at some point they will start pushing back, and manufacturers will. We've seen cases where people would tell us, they come to us and they say, hey guys, well, this manufacturer dropped me. I already paid and they're returning the money. And we're like, okay, what happened? Well, I just wanted them to produce the product in 15 days instead of 30.
Yeah.
We all understand that this time is money and we would like to start our businesses as soon as possible and everything should run. But we also need to understand that production lines are booked out. And right now, demand for manufacturing different types of products, not only in China, but globally, is huge. I know manufacturers in France and in Germany who do cosmetics who have schedule already until the end of 2022 and the beginning of 2023. So you need to get into this one slot. So if you push too much, the manufacturer will drop you. Unfortunately, that is the situation right now. But it's also about respect towards your partner, because a lot of people, they try to micromanage, and this is a mistake, there is a mistake. Let the people do their job.
Yeah.
Of course, observe. Of course, be kind of a helicopter parent kind of thing, a little bit, not a problem, but not pinpoint and pick on every little thing, because people don't like it either, and they will drop you as well.
And they're people.
And they're people,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You're dealing with human beings,
Yeah.
and you're dealing with other cultures. And this is a very important point.
Yeah.
Because talking to an Italian person versus an American versus Australian, Chinese, or Russian, these are all different people.
Yeah.
So you need to, when you communicate,
adapt.
exactly.
Yeah.
So in China, they have such a term called guanxi. Guanxi is basically, networking, nepotism kind of thing. So, before you talk to anyone from any country, my suggestion would be, and if you want to negotiate something better down, first of all, look at where this person comes from.
Yeah.
Try to make some references, give some compliments about the country or the city where the person lives. And also, sounds a little bit stalkery, if that's a word, research this particular person and on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, see what they like. When you find this rapport with the person, they start to feel personally positive towards you, and this is when they might be able to help you out even better.
They might say, no, we can't do this, but we can do that.
Exactly.
So
they will try to find options for you. Yes. Exactly.
Last thing that I want to ask you, Yulia, before we tell everyone how they can contact you and all of that, but you said something that's very important, and we get this all the time. A lot of people, especially our clients, say, and a lot of the viewers, of course, say, why China? Why not here and there and here and there? There are a lot of positives to sourcing from China. There are also a lot of negatives, and there are not necessarily negatives. There are a lot of positives from sourcing from any country. But, if somebody's looking to just get started, let's say it's neutral, China, Turkey, Pakistan, it doesn't matter. How would you suggest that they go about with finding a manufacturer? Should they focus on a country? Should they look at all countries?
So, and this is the point. So, again, when our customers come to us, or potential customers, or people who just come to, ask a few questions, which is perfectly fine. So you need to see what the product is.
Yes.
And you need to identify which country in the world actually produces those products. So where the industries are based. Again, if a person wants to produce a TV in Germany or in Mexico, I would say it is possible, but don't do this. Because you will receive low quality product for extremely expensive, you will not be able to sell. 80% of the electronics is still produced in China, so you go to China.
Even the German brands manufactured in China,
all of them. All of them. First of all, you need to look at your USPs.
Yes.
So if your USP is a product that is manufactured in Turkey because for example, nuts, right? We're taking different nuts or dates or something like this. So when you see produced in Turkey, you feel quality, right? So you need to identify.
You're not going to get this product, made in China.
Exactly. You're not going to have a good feel about it. So you need to, first of all, realize for yourself how important are if you have the USPs and how important they are for you. Then again, if you're a beginner, you want to do things yourself, or even if you're not a beginner, but you still want to do things yourself, just simply go to Google. which countries are the top producers of peanuts. And you will see a list on Statista or on any other website that pops on Google. And then you will see, all right, I have a few countries there. And this suits with my USPs. And this is how you find the country. And from there, you start outreach. Yes, you can use Alibaba, WLW, Europages, LinkedIn, Google, etc., etc., etc. So this usually would be the way.
That makes a lot of sense. So if you're, for example, wanting to sell garments and textiles, maybe Turkey would be a great thing rather than maybe having to go to China. But first, decide on the product. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. Yulia, so you work with all types of e-commerce sellers or all types of sellers. It doesn't matter.
Yes.
But you know, we talk about Amazon. We're obsessed with it.
Yeah.
So and you work with a lot of Amazon sellers. If somebody wants to reach out to you and work with you, do they need to be at a certain level or could they be just starting out from zero? I know the answer. That's why I'm asking you the question.
For us, honestly, we work with many different people from zero to hero, just like that. From zero to anyone. However, to infinity and beyond. However, one thing we do suggest is for the newcomers, for the people who are new on the scene, spend a few hours, spend 1 week, 2 hours per day. So, 10 hours in total. Try to do the sourcing yourself. And you will see the complexities of the processes because, we have people coming to us. I found the manufacturer, I have the prices, and now they're not answering to me anymore and they're asking weird questions. I don't know what to do. Because it can also be a language barrier because Chinese manufacturers very often will call you, hello, darling.
And you're
but
like, what?
Yes, but they don't mean this in a way that we would accept it. My friend in China, I was 20 kg bigger, so my friend in China would, we meet with them in Beijing and would say, oh, you're fat. I'm like, thank you. And I lived in China for 9 years and it still bothered me, but I knew this is a cultural thing. So, we work with anyone and everyone. We of course prefer people with a little bit more experience, simply for the reason they understand the amount of work that goes, that goes into this. But in general, again, even when people come to us and they just want a quick advice, half an hour call we do, how people say for free. It's a little consultation and
to help set your goals and your strategies.
And sometimes when people come to us, we even say, guys, you know what? We don't suggest you to use our services yet because of this and that, but here is what you can do on your own. And I'm okay with helping with that simply for the reason I'm a go-giver. There is a book called The Go-Giver. You give, customer value overload, and this is a good thing. You help and it will come back to you in threefold at some point, or at least that's the goal.
If you have any idea or if you have any sourcing issues, if you don't have to have a problem.
No.
You can reach out to Yulia and the Zignify team. I will leave all of the information in the description box of this video. Thank you so much, Yulia.
No problem.
Thank you so much to Yulia, Sebastian, and all of the Zignify team. It was absolutely wonderful to meet Yulia in person in Portugal. This interview was actually filmed in Portugal while me and her were in a seller conference, an Amazon seller conference. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to subscribe, like this video, and leave us a comment or a question under this video so that we can address it directly or in future videos. I'll see you in another video with more information. Bye.